guys, welcome back to my channel. We're going to continue where we left off in the book of Exodus. We're going to read chapters 20 and 21 today. So we're going to read about the 10 commandments and laws about slaves, laws about personal injury, and we're just going to read about those three things today. So let's get started. We are on chapter 20 and it's about the 10 commandments. So then God spoke all these words. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the place of slavery. Do not have other gods besides me. Do not make an idol for yourself, rather in the shape of anything in the heavens above or on the earth below or in the waters under the earth. Do not bow and worship to them, and do not serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children of the fathers' iniquity to the third, fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing faithful love to 1,000 generations to those who love me and keep my commands. Do not misuse the name of the Lord your God, because the Lord will not leave anyone unpunished who misuses his name. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. You are to labor 6 days and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath day to the Lord your God. You must not do any work. You, your son, your daughter, your male, your female servant, your livestock, or the resident alien who was with you in your city gates. For the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and everything in them in the 6 days, and he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and declared it holy. Honor your father and your mother, so that you may have a long life in the land that the Lord your God has given you. Do not murder, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not give false testimony against your neighbor, do not covet your neighbor's house, do not covet your neighbor's wife, his male or female servant, his oxen, his donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. The people's reaction. All the people witnessed the thunder and the lightning, the sound of the trumpet, and the mountain surrounded by smoke. When the people saw it, they trembled and stood at a distance. You speak to us, and we will listen, they said to Moses. But don't let God speak to us, or we will die. Moses responded to the people, don't be afraid, for God has come to test you, so that you will fear him and will not sin. And the people remained standing at a distance as Moses approached the total darkness where God was. Sorry, guys. I yawned. Moses receives additional laws. Then the Lord told Moses, this is what you are to say to the Israelites who have seen that I have spoken to you from heaven. Do not make gods of silver to rival me. Do not make gods of gold for yourselves. Make an earthen altar for me and sacrifice on your burnt offerings and fellowship offerings, your flocks and herds. I will come to you and bless in every place where I cause my name to be remembered. If you make a stone altar for me, do not build it out of stone. If you use your chisel on it, you will defile it. Do not go up to my altar on steps, so that your nakedness is not exposed on it. 21. These are the ordinances that you are to set before them. Laws about slaves. When you buy a Hebrew slave, he is to serve for 6 years. In the 7th year, he is to leave as a free man without paying anything. If he arrives alone, he is to leave alone. If he arrives with a wife, his wife is to leave with him. If his master gives him a wife and she bears him sons or daughters, the wife and her children belong to her master, and the man must leave alone. That kind of sucks. If the slave declares, I love my master, my wife, my children, I do not want to leave as a free man as his master is to bring him to the judges and then bring him to the door or doorpost. His master will pierce his ear with an awl, and he will serve his master for life. When a man sells his daughter as a concubine, she is not to leave as a male slaves do. If she is displeasing to her master, who chose her for himself, then he must let her be redeemed. He has no right to sell her to foreigners because he has acted treacherously toward her. Or if he chooses her for his son, he must deal with her according to the customary treatment of daughters. If he takes an additional wife, he must not reduce the food, clothing, or marital rights of his first wife. If he does not do these 3 things for her, she may leave free of charge without any payment. Laws about personal injury. And you guys, you got to remember, this is the New Testament. So this is the Old Testament. So this is before, Jesus came down and died on the cross and all those rules changed. Laws about personal injury. Whoever strikes a person so that he dies must be put to death. But if he did not intend any harm and yet God allowed it to happen, I will appoint a place for you where he may flee. If a person schemes and willfully acts against his neighbor to murder him, he must take him from my altar to be put to death. Whoever strikes his father or his mother must be put to death. Whoever kidnaps a person must be put to death. Rather, he sells him or a person is found in his possession. Whoever curses his father or mother must be put to death. When men quarrel and one strikes the other with a stone or his fist, and the injured man does not die but is confined to bed, if he can later get up and walk around outside leaning on his staff, then the one who struck him will be exempted from punishment. Nevertheless, he must pay for his lost work time and provide his complete recovery. When a man strikes a male or female slave with a rod, and the slave dies under his abuse, the owner must be punished. However, if the slave can stand up after a day or two, the owner should not be punished because he is his owner's property. When men get in a fight and hit a pregnant woman so that her children are born prematurely, but there is no injury, the one who hit her must be fined as a woman's husband demands from him, and he must pay according to judicial assessment. If there is an injury, then you must give life for life, every eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, bruise for bruise, and wound for wound. When a man strikes the eye of his male or female slave and destroys it, he must let the slave go free in compensation for his eye. If he knocks out a tooth of his male or female slave, he must let the slave go free in compensation for his tooth. When an ox gores a man or a woman to death, the ox must be stoned, and its meat must not be eaten. But the ox's owner is innocent. However, if the ox was in the habit of goring, and its owner has been warned that does not restrain it, and it kills a man or a woman, an ox must be stoned, and its owner must be put to death. If instead a ransom is demanded of him, he can pay a redemption price for his life and the full amount demanded from him. If it gores a son or daughter, he is to be dealt with according to the same law. If the ox gores a male or female slave, he must give 30 shekels of silver to the slave's master, and the ox must be stoned. When a man uncovers a pit or digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or a donkey falls into it, the owner of the pit must give compensation. He must pay to its owner, but the dead animal will become his. When the man's ox injures his neighbor's ox and it dies, they must sell the live ox and divide its proceeds. They must also divide the dead animal. If, however, it is known that the ox was in the habit of goring, yet its owner has not restrained it, he must compensate fully, ox for ox. The dead animal will become his. So that was chapter 21. Tomorrow we're going to read chapters 22 and 23. We're going to read about the laws of theft, laws of crop protection, seduction, personal property, capital offenses, respect for your God, laws about honesty and justice, the Sabbaths and the festivals, and promises and warnings. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for chapters 23 and 24. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.